By the powers vested in me, I hereby constitute this smart graduation ceremony of the Cape Peninsula University of Technology.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the premiere of our Smart Graduation Ceremony for the graduates of 2020. Please note that all COVID-19 protocols are adhered to and observed. Thank you for viewing our Smart Graduation premiere. Please go to our graduation website and download your personal slide and post it to your personal social media page using the following hashtag. Hashtag CPUT SmartGrad 2020. I would like to call the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Krishna Schlapo, to do the welcome.
Molweni mawetu. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Goeiemorgen, dames en heren. Welcome to the graduating class of 2020. In many respects, this is a unique graduation for a very unique class. Never in the history of Cape Peninsula University of Technology have we been faced with a myriad of challenges presented by COVID-19 pandemic. It is worth noting that in your own individual way, most of you have defied the odds to graduate here today. You have risen to this high position overcoming hardships that are well documented. As they say in Latin, et augusta per angusta. That will be the best description of the events here today. CPUT is one of the very few universities globally to offer what we term a digital graduation, which, much like a traditional one, celebrates your individual success. While many universities will have opted for mass conferral of qualification, we think you deserve more than a short generic ceremony. For that reason, we personalize this ceremony with your picture and a message to be read out by your dean. This slide will be downloadable and shareable so that all your friends and family can celebrate this special occasion with you. In a peculiar and unplanned way, the COVID-19 pandemic has given you a head start on the graduate attributes that the future world of work demands. You needed a sense of self-determination to complete your academic year on time and meet the requirements for graduation. You needed to be resilient, agile, and most of all, adaptable. You needed to be smart as a smart CPUT student. As management team, we needed this quintessential graduate attribute in you to meet the challenges presented by the pandemic and to find solution of completing the academic year 2020. As leadership, we have vowed that no student shall be left behind as a result of pandemic. To that end, we provided a number of out-of-the-box innovative solutions to complete the academic year 2020. These include, but not limited to, the following: allowing late submission and resubmissions, providing online tutor and mentor support, moving lecturer guidance to WhatsApp, and capacitating our staff with skills to adapt to remote learning and multimodal pedagogy. It hasn't been easy, but it has been necessary, and I'm very proud of our lecturing staff who have brought us to this point here today. You have positively catalyzed our Vision 2030, or the so-called One Smart CPUT. It was like you were saying, never let a good COVID-19 crisis go to waste. You reminded us that in every disadvantage, there is advantage. The majority of students will successfully finish the academic year in 2020. It is worth noting that earlier this year, CPUT was identified as a low-risk institution in terms of potential for COVID-19 transmission. we are fighting the pandemic off our campuses through a dedicated, all-inclusive task team that is brought directly into senior management. This has been especially necessary as we welcome 100% of our staff and students back on campus. I will conclude this address with a party message that I so often tell our graduating classes. Please let this graduation be one of many that you have in your constant quest for lifelong learning. After all, if 2020 has taught us anything, let it be this, that the world is changing and we all need to change with it. With that, I want to thank you very much. And also, it is important for me to say, Baya Danki Damesanire. And not to exclude a large population of our people, it's important for me to say, as per our policy, Nkosi Mawetu Diabulele. Thank you.
Chancellor, I request you to confer diplomas and degrees within the Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment on the following candidates who cannot be present due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
By the authority vested in me, the diplomas and degrees will be awarded to the candidates as presented to me.
The criteria for cum laude and summa cum laude for the entire ceremony is: cum laude is when a student has passed all of the subjects of the qualification at the first attempt and obtained an average of 75% in all the courses of the qualification and an average of 75% in the final level courses. For summa cum laude, a student should obtain a mark of 75% or more in all subjects. For summa cum laude, for full research master's students, both examiners would have awarded a mark of 75% or more. For the National Diploma in Building, Fezeke, Zibi. For the National Diploma in Cartography, Shikumbisa, Mabunda. For the National Diploma in Chemical Engineering, Damilola Bakare, Silendo Kugle Bune, Moonyori Chauki, Ntubu Luboya, Percy Matsepe, Lonwabo Binana. For the National Diploma in Civil Engineering, Steveland Adams. Ewan Aranis, Tokme Arendse, Lisa Basson, Sibongile Baskiti. For the National Diploma in Civil Engineering, cum laude, Willem Bosman, Keisha Brandt, Kimone Bothman, Kanimambo Chauki, Tabo Chauki, Kumbulani Chimusaro, Aran Kluti, Muhammad Cornelius, Chandru Cronier, Dino Cubido, Shane Davids, Biden Dick, Robin Evans, Shirley Franz, Samkelo Gadudu, Chanel Ganja, Dwayne Gilbert, Najwa Hamza, Andisiwe Handana, Sean Lee Hearn, Jean-Dre Immelman, Andisiwe Gia, Keith Jones, Muhammad Jones, Elaine Kisimba, Pierre Kotze, Tsebo Kuena, Tumisang Lebeta, Kasongo Lukanda, Sybil Mabunda, Ululuto Madikazi, Rapalalani Madzena, Simvo Magaka, Helela Magengelele, Situlele Mchlalela, Tulani Makeleni, Confidence Makubele, Samora Mamba, Manashe Mapakutera, Vululwetu Maramba, Denite Marinas, Leroy Matese, Yonelisa Machoba, Charmaine Matiwane, Sandile Matieba, Kutso Mount Tlala, Sikona Matwebe, Mnoneleli Menziwa, Cosley Meyer, Sipelo Mfeni, Kevin Mize, Tembelichle Mkize, Letukutula Mguni, Ludwe Mtuyedwa, Masana Mpakanyane, Machlatse Mpaho, Lungo Mpondo, Luntu Msindo, Treso Ndu, Satina Muntali, Mpunzeni Myunzadziwa, Mavungu Mutevuli, Ilunga Mwamba, Katanti Mwasoka, Jules Mawisa, Bonga Nkapai, Pascal Ndezei, Tuso Nekofe, Danny Ngeleka, Kevin Ngobeni, Sepesihle Nkame, Kobani Nkandana, Muhammad Niftahuddin, Wongaletu Nkwede, Tebaletu Ntantiso, Sibabalwe Ntenetiana, Abungile Ntsepo, Siwapiwe Ntunja, Amin Abalster, Shakil Patandan, Asanele Peter, Mishka Pick, Sherilyn Peterson, Edwin Poole, Jesus Bugaza, Raid Hapetse Rabuli Yane, Bongani Ramapala, Talisha Reitz, Bertram Ross, Rustin Reiters, Dani Simon, Marwia Samsudin, Jamie Samuels, Sizwe Shabangu, Sibonisa Sibia, Nikelwa Silemela, Franz Smith, Buren Smith, Simamkele Sobuza, Johan Char, Sikumbuzo Twani, Ryan Tyler, Sayan Valji, Justin van Rensburg, Melisha van Rijn, Cornel Visser, Lutando Willem, Jürgen Willemse, Nkobile Zulu, Abu Bakr Brinkhuis, Lorenzo Campbell. For the National Diploma in Engineering in Computer Systems, Dewa Goosen. Tabang Leteba, Pasi Lufuluabo, Kapena Lumamba, Klemoti Singui, Jodi Chibangu. For the National Diploma in Engineering in Electrical Engineering, Sibusiso Trebisa, Kagisho Chuena, Jose da Costa, Amada Diarra, Zulfa Isat, Neil Fulton, Lucanio Gojo, Warren Hansen, Vanolia Harker, Zubair Karim, Nongo Kazembe, Malula Kiona, Solisa Madlolo, Victor Makumburenga, Chadelvi Kasango, Joseph Mbaya, Nsika Mbundu, Charles Mbuyi, Solani Mdleleni, Francisco Mendes, Yonela Mgogo, Enoch Miata Buna, Olwetu Morena, Matimba Musengi, Kola Mkate, Kevin Ngoyi, Mfanafuti Nhlapo, Sipesihle Nkohla. For the National Diploma in Electrical Engineering, cum laude, Ben Nkomayombi, Wendy Nkomo, Peleka Nkomazonke, Vuyolwetu Nofinkana, Ego Pande, Asive Pangubuso, Yandani Pukwana, Abungile Rameti, Akona Samuel, Kia Leboja Sediti, Makoba Sibia, Castador Titi, Sipho Zenzile, Luando Zokufa, for the National Diploma in Industrial Engineering, Lisoletu Bilibana, Ruben Gaspar, Bongani Magubane, Joshua Massey, Mukhoje Moshane, Murangi Muduai, Bukelwa Ngwane, Langitemba Nkomana, Wizana Pedro, Blaine Williams, for the National Diploma in Mechanical Engineering, Abdul Nasir Abrahams, Marcel Kilume, Regis Ntombe, Nkosinati Berayi, Tavio Bardens, Nchutekani Chawane, Ulysses Zingwa, Vumasande Gafeni, Jawad Khafour, Mvuyisi Gobisandla, Eddie Ilunga, Mulaji Kalenda, Ephraim Kahile, Siabonga Kupiso, Wyatt Loxton, Tokozani Mkhlangu, Liwandile Mkhlati, Zenande Matkola, Madidimalo Matladi, Andiswe Meje, James Mel, Kanyiso Mechanisa, Nosipo Mia, Bonani Mkodiana, Dumisani Mtetwa, Siabonga Namatelana, Nancy Namululi, Ganti Ngosha, Somila Nkulu, Robin Payne, Afikile Kuvane, Cabello Schwabana, Lucia Tamalang, Muditambi Chekova, Liwandile Yanta, Abungile Zanani, for the National Diploma in Mechanical Engineering, in Mechatronics, Zakes Mabunda. Veroe, September. Baccalaureus Technology in Cartography, David de Jager. Ebenezer Mandla. For the Baccalaureus Technology in Chemical Engineering, Rindani Malima. For the Baccalaureus Technology in Civil Engineering in Construction Management, Onke Matu Batuba. For the Baccalaureus Technology in Civil Engineering in Urban Engineering, Zikone Makrune. Nomabaka Nkonjane. For the Baccalaureus Technology in Electrical Engineering, Owen Kwala. Nikki Iyamwen. Sinclair Kalako. Paulo Malonda. Puafasadi Mampuya. Saule Matebese. Jude Bobanga. Deneo Mposelwa. Olwetu Zwakali. Siraj Rapiti. Willem van der Merwe. Bulelani Zweni. For the Baccalaureus Technology in Industrial Engineering, Neil Berger. Ezai Juris. Liabile Mpiti. For the Baccalaureus Technology in Mechanical Engineering, Frans Beidenhorst. Jaco Bothme. Ntokozo Butelezi. Johannes de Klerk. Usama Jan. Luvo Kamati. Precious Kosimore. Tapelo Kowa. Eshwin Leroux. Mandlinkosi Mokubela. Ntakadzeni Mambonani. Tariq Mahom. Jacqueline Maseko. Savarion Mudin. Bekitemba Msimanga. Chipoi Mukind. Aneska Muller. Bongani Ngobeni. Nolwando Ntanjana. Titus Paulus. Lufuno Renanga. Tabo Sadiki. Sisa Skiti. Julio Triponze. For the Baccalaureus, Technology in Mechanical Engineering, in Mechatronics, Warren Asia, Zubin Bawan, Chilomba Dimambi, Merija Ishmael, Mpo Lecholo, Andile Maseti, Tashriq Moses, Ernest Neethling, Johan Pambo, Luke Stopford, Marinus van der Berg. For the Baccalaureus, Technology in Quality, Monica Mkatala, for the Master of Engineering in Chemical Engineering, summa cum laude, with the title Tannery Effluent Characterization and Culture Enrichment for Enhancement of Biological Treatment, supervised by Professor Oyekola, Dr. Van Hill, and Dr. Wells, Emma Jane Horn. For the Master of Engineering in Chemical Engineering, with the title Development of Lightweight Geopolymeric Materials Using Fly Ash and Waste Paper, supervised by Professor Tunde Ujumu, Natalie Nyabanga. For the Master of Engineering in Chemical Engineering, cum laude, supervised by Mr. Joe John and Professor Daniel Ikumuregbe, with the title An Application of Pinch Analysis in the Design of a Standalone Thermochemical Cycle Hydrogen Hub Sourced from Renewables in Rural South Africa, Daniel CRG. The Master of Engineering in Civil Engineering, with the title Calibration and Validation of Microsimulation Model for Operational Performance, Evaluation of Urban Corridors, supervised by Professor Raina Haldewang and Ms. Cheryl Balford, Mania Monsi. For the Master of Engineering in Mechanical Engineering, with the title Mechanical Properties of Friction Stir-Welded 5083 H321 and 6082 T651 dissimilar aluminium alloys, supervised by Dr. Valapi Masomi Vuyani Moni. For the Master of Engineering in Mechanical Engineering, with the title Development of an Autonomous Airborne Docking and Undocking System for Micro Drones to a Mother Drone, supervised by Professor Oscar Philander and Mr. Riddles, Inyeni Showers. For the Doctor of Engineering in Civil Engineering, with the title Framework for Effective Management of Cost Towards Sustainable Housing Delivery, supervised by Dr. Julius Vapahunda and Professor Raina Haldewang. I'll be reading the citation on behalf of the supervisors. Imisi Julius Akinyede was born in Ado Ikiti, Ikiti Estate in Nigeria, where he had his primary and high school education. After obtaining his higher national diploma in building technology in 1998, He worked in the construction industry as a construction manager and later served as a senior technical officer in the Department of Works at Ikiti Local Government Council. In 2013, he enrolled for the MTech in Construction Management at CPUT, graduating with distinction in 2015. In 2016, he enrolled for the Doctor of Engineering in Civil Engineering. His doctoral research focused on affordable housing delivery, where he investigated the factors that influence affordable housing delivery and taking into consideration effective cost management. This study revealed several factors that affect the cost of housing delivery in South Africa. He further developed a validated operational framework that may be used by construction operators to achieve cost-effective production processes for affordable housing delivery. For construction cost reduction, this effective application of the model will help to reduce the cost of housing delivery and enhance the availability of affordable housing for the masses in South Africa. Imesi Oluseyi Julius Akindiede. Chancellor, I request you to confirm the doctorate in civil engineering on Imesi Julius Akindiede.
Chancellor, I request you to confirm diplomas and degrees within the Faculty of Business and Management Sciences on the following candidates who cannot be present due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
By the authority vested in me, the diplomas and degrees will be awarded to the candidates as presented to me.
For the Diploma in Operations Management, Althea Abrahams. Asipe Boto. Jurelma De Castro. Zetu Fanteso. Unati Gebe. Chumani Madini. Tinotenda Mangosho. Miseka Mati. Lusanda Mayase. Atenkosi Mbiza. Bomikazi Planganasino. Simanyene Njekula. Sandra Mgenyane. Tando Mpongwana. Maibongwe Nkiwane. Lovuyo Robiana. Masibulele Rubuluza. Siposetu Runguzi. Lenicia Smith. Xolisa Tom. Anele Velapi. Lindy Vusani. Dorian Weeks. For the National Diploma Accounting, Faith Mbanya. Nokobonga Prusent. For the National Diploma, Cost and Management Accounting, Muzi Majozi. Andile Mbuku. Cranston Piri. For the National Diploma, Financial Information Systems, Tabita Feleza. For the National Diploma, Human Resources Management, Lutando Quetzwayo. Anthea Cooper. Bayizena Feleni. Sipogazi Magantolo. Ayabonga Makula. Tabile Mkungwana. Luyolo Quencha. Tandogazi Rongo. For the National Diploma, Internal Auditing, Esona Klobeli. For the National Diploma Management, Sean Furi. Tlameko Lolokwane cum laude. For the National Diploma Management, Sedaka Roberts Baxter. For the National Diploma Marketing, Yazid Ali. For the National Diploma Office Management and Technology, Felicia Bantham. Maureen Giba. Sesetu Mpelo. Yolanda Moya. For the National Diploma in Operations Management, Lungiswa Kwai. Amanda Machau. Asanda Matolo. Nindi Pile Mandondo. For the National Diploma, Public Management, Luando Jack. Asonele Yanchis. Fezile Njamela. For the National Diploma, Real Estate, Augustine Matsetsela. Crystal Spielman. For the National Diploma Sport Management, Umpumelelo Nonkunzi. Namhle Situ. For the Bachelor of Technology, Cost and Management Accounting, Sange Mini. For the Bachelor of Technology, Financial Information Systems, Nam Mboyisa. For the Bachelor of Technology, Human Resources Development, Ongeziwe Bunu. Sinovuyo Jack. Sharifa Kandanya. Shanganani Mgodla. Tupuyo Molifi. Neliswa Sanda. For the Bachelor of Technology Internal Auditing, Zanele Mkunyana. For the Bachelor of Technology Management, Tatum Arensa. Bulelani Hini. For the Bachelor of Technology Project Management, Ntombi Sitatu Makwara. Nolene Turden. For the Bachelor of Technology Public Management, Nelisa Andries. For the Bachelor of Technology Taxation, Hilary Koch. For the Bachelor of Technology Tourism Management, Aviwe Kwele. Amanda Mahlanyana. Sepeleli Kokoshe. Miranda Chachaza. For the Master of Technology Business Administration, the title of the dissertation is The Effect of Capital Structure on Dividend Payout, the Case of Selected Banks in South Africa, supervised by Dr. Michael Tumdako. Mark Lodell Assam Fills. For the Master of Technology Business Administration, title of the dissertation is Factors Influencing International Students to Further Their Tertiary Education in South Africa, a study of the Gabonese students in Cape Town, supervised by Prof. F. Herbst and Dr. Michael Tumdako, Matt Jefferson Baikanga. For the Master of Technology Business Administration, title of the dissertation, Employee Perceptions of Downstream Outcomes of Health Promotion, a case study of the clothing and textiles industry in South Africa, supervised by Dr. B. Yan. Rudy Tyrone de Quirker. For the Master of Technology Business Administration, and the title of the dissertation is The Management of National and Provincial Government Office Space in the Buffalo City Metropole, supervised by Prof. I.W. Ferreira, Dulebuhle Mlungisi Diani. For the Masters in Technology Business Administration, the title of the dissertation is Social Media as a Communication Strategy in a Selected University in Cape Town, supervised by Dr. A.J. Francis Abongdia. Eline Mliwalbe. For the Master of Technology Business Administration, and the title of the dissertation is The Impact of ISO 9001 on Service Delivery at the Logistics Department at a brewery in Gabon, supervised by Dr. B. Yan, Axel Ayong. For the Master of Technology Business Administration, the impact of communication on employees' performance in a retail chain's head office in Cape Town, supervised by Dr. A.J.F. Abongdia, Martinez Jacobus Wagenaar. For the Master of Technology Business Administration in Project Management, and the title of the dissertation is Factors Influencing the Progress of Women into Senior Management Positions in a Selected Traffic Management Company in Cape Town, South Africa, supervised by Dr. Larry Joa. Naledi Nobonya. For the Master of Technology, Business Administration in Project Management, title of the dissertation is The Impact of Client Expectations and Behaviors on Project Constraints in the Management of Web Development Projects in Cape Town, supervised by Mr. Stanley Fora. Audrey Lomba. For the Master of Technology, Business Information Systems, and the title of the dissertation is The Role of Business Process Management on Corporate Strategy Implementation in a Selected Organization in the Western Cape, South Africa, supervised by Dr. Michael Tumdako and Mrs. L. Harker. Khadija Ali. For the Master of Technology, Human Resources Management, and the title of the dissertation is Employee Assistance Programs in Higher Education, a case study of a Namibian higher education institution, supervised by Prof. A. Rist, Nilayo Kamati. For the Master of Technology, Human Resources Management, and the title of the dissertation is Absenteeism in a Selected Service Call Center in Cape Town, Western Cape, South Africa, supervised by Dr. Gilbert Dale. Evelyn Kaniyaru. For the Master of Technology, Human Resources Management, and the title of the dissertation is The Impact of Work-Integrated Learning on the Employability of Undergraduates Using Psychological Career Resources at a Higher Education Institution in Namibia, supervised by Dr. Jerome Kiley. Martha Namutua. For the Master of Technology, Office Management and Technology, and the title of the dissertation is The Influence of Virtual Teams on Business Communication in a Selected South African Financial Organization, supervised by Dr. A.S. Viljoen, Nasli Hendricks. For the Master of Technology, Public Management, and the title of the dissertation, Local Economic Development Assessment on the Construction Sector's Transformation Approach through Skills Development in South Africa, supervised by Professor Harry Ballard and Mr. L. Kakaza. Nkosazana Masiza. For the Master of Business and Information Administration, and the title of the dissertation is The Effectiveness of a Performance Management System at a South African public hospital in Cape Town, supervised by Prof. V. Naika Patlolele Ntiokwe. For the Master of Internal Auditing, and the title of the dissertation is Effectiveness of Risk Management in the Utilization of Mobile Devices within Local Government Entities in the Namakwa District, Northern Cape, supervised by Dr. S.O.H. Benedict and Prof. Jobo Dubihlela. Patrick Otto. For the Master of Technology Marketing, the title of the dissertation is The Impact of an Integrated Marketing Communication Service Learning Project on Participating Client Organizations, and supervised by Professor Rodney Duffett and Dr. Peter Steenkamp. Dylan Henry Kromhout, summa cum laude. For the Master of Marketing, and the title of the dissertation is Consumer Behavior of Black Women Wearing Natural Textured Hair in Cape Town, South Africa, supervised by Dr. Peter Steenkamp, Simone Thomas. For the Master of Public Administration, title of the dissertation is The Effectiveness of Training Received by South African Police Officers and its Impact on Job Performance, supervised by Dr. Stanford Cronier, Abdusalama Salem. For the Master of Retail Business Management, and the title of the dissertation is Development of an Effective and Sustainable Supply Chain Management Model for South African Fashion Designers in the Retail Clothing Industry, supervised by Dr. Viramai Mugobo and Ms. A.J. Jere. Boitumelo Pu, summa cum laude. For the Doctor of Technology, Public Management, title of the thesis is Socio-Economic Impact of Public-Private Partnerships on Rural Development in the Eastern Cape Province, a Selected Cases, supervised by Prof. R. Hendrickse and Professor Rodney Duffett. Siviwe Mdichwa. I now call upon the supervisor, Professor Rodney Duffett, to read the citation.
The candidate developed a systematic public-private partnership framework for planning and implementing industrial development zones to improve socio-economic development in a metropolitan municipality in South Africa. The literature suggests that public-private partnership arrangements are important alternative options for social development, local economic development, and rural economic development in a municipal environment. The study identified industrial development zones as a distinctive platform for effective and efficient public-private partnership procurement arrangements to stimulate local economic vibrancy and sustainability development. The findings revealed that the metropolitan municipality benefited from the industrial development zone public-private partnership arrangement. It recommended that National Treasury develop a public-private partnership risk-based management framework that directly aligns to the public-private partnership arrangement monitoring and evaluation in order to measure the extent of public-private partnership impact on society.
For the Doctor of Technology, Public Management, Siviwe Mdichwa. For the Doctor of Commerce, Internal Auditing, title of the thesis is Impact of Internal Audit and Corporate Governance Practices on the Performance of State-Owned Enterprises in Namibia, supervised by Professor Jobo Dubehlela and Prof. Thomas Turner. I now call upon the supervisor, Professor Jobo Dubehlela, to read the citation.
Mr. Boama developed a framework that captures internal audit activities, corporate governance practices, and risk performance of state-owned enterprises. In analyzing internal audit within Namibian state-owned enterprises, the study advances our understanding of the intricacies of public sector accountability. Internal auditing in state-owned enterprises is critical for corporate governance, risk management, operational efficiency, and assurance of enhancement of organizational performance. Notwithstanding the existence of legislation, regulations, policies, codes of governance, misappropriation of funds, fraudulent activities, non-compliance, and inefficiencies still abound within SMEs, contributing to their prevalent dysfunctional operations. The study found that SOEs malfunction because of absence of effective internal auditing and poor corporate governance. Research and stakeholders reiterate the importance of corporate governance. It is essential that SOEs adopt frameworks that enhance their overall performance. Consequently, an internal auditing effectiveness framework capturing corporate governance practices and state-owned enterprises is proposed to enhance organizational performance and mitigate risk exposures.
For the Doctor of Commerce, Internal Auditing, Kofi Boama. For the Doctor of Commerce, Internal Auditing, the title of the thesis is a framework for holistic risk management and sustainability of fast-moving consumer goods, SMEs, Cape Metropole, South Africa, supervised by Professor Robertson Tenge and Professor Jobo Dubehlela. I now call upon the supervisor, Professor Robertson Tenge, to read the citation.
Oscar Chakava developed a holistic risk assessment framework for fast-moving consumer goods, SMEs, to introduce a broader perspective on the risks that are crucial for the survival of fast-moving consumer goods, SMEs, in a fast-paced, changing environment. Studies have shown that fast-moving consumer goods SMEs face an array of risks in their operations. Customarily, SMEs are tempted to align this risk to strategic operations and compliance issues. While this has been the practice, this study, through the sustainability lens, found that risk in fast-moving consumer goods SMEs are no longer confined to traditional sources only, but are now pervasively expanding. While the latter reiterates the critical importance for risk assessment, the clarion call is for fast-moving consumer goods SMEs to adopt a holistic approach to the assessment and management of risk. To this end, a framework that captures sustainability dimensions into the risk assessment of fast-moving consumer goods SMEs is proposed to enable them to tackle risk holistically.
For the Doctor of Commerce, Internal Auditing, Oscar Chakamva. For the Doctor of Commerce, Marketing, title of the thesis is The Impact of Corporate Social Responsibility Programs on the Marketing Performance of Professional Sport Organizations in South Africa, supervised by Professor Brendan Knott and Professor Rodney Duffett. I now call upon the supervisor, Professor Brendan Knott, to read the citation.
The candidate developed a set of criteria that professional sport organizations in South Africa could use to assess the impact of CSR programs on their marketing performance. The literature suggests that CSR programs elicit positive marketing-related outcomes for professional sport organizations. However, the impact of these outcomes on marketing performance is under-investigated. This study identified CSR as a marketing strategy and conceptualized the relationship between CSR and marketing performance. The findings present unique perceptions from professional sport organizations in South Africa. A set of criteria to assess the impact of CSR programs on their marketing performance is proposed. It is recommended that CSR be used strategically to maximize positive impact on sport organizations' marketing performance.
For the Doctor of Commerce, Marketing, Talent Moyo.
Chancellor, I request you to confer diplomas and degrees within the Faculty of Informatics and Design on the following candidates who cannot be here due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
By the authority vested in me, the diplomas and degrees will be awarded to the candidates as presented to me.
The first one is Bachelor of Technology in Information Technology Software Development, Wandile Mbanjwa. Master of Technology in Design, title, Considerations to Inform Learning Designers' Decisions when Selecting Strategies for Learning Events in Higher Education, supervised by Professor Johannes Kronje and Professor Blenard Ulrike Klassen summa cum laude. For the master's degree in design, title, An Evaluation of Connectivist Learning Design in Higher Education, supervised by Professor Johannes Kronje, is Wellington Nyadenga. For the master's degree in Information Technology, with title, The Information Needs of Informal Caregivers in Rural South Africa, supervised by Dr. Andrew Delahap and Mr. Ayodeji Afolayani is Amna Ali Abdul Salam Ashur. For the Master of Technology degree in Information Technology, titled The Adoption of ICTs in Public Access Centers in a Rural South Africa Community, supervised by Professor Sean Parther, is Cecilia Franz.
Chancellor, I request you to confer diplomas and degrees within the Faculty of Education on the following candidates who cannot be present due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
By the authority vested in me, the diplomas and degrees will be awarded to the candidates as presented to me.
Baccalaureate Educationists, Intermediate and Senior Phase, Christelle Benita Keys. Kim Amy Williams. Doctor of Education with the title, The Educational and Social Inclusion of Children and Youth at Risk, a case study of a child and youth care centre in the Western Cape, South Africa, supervised by Professor Yusuf Sayed. I will read the citation on behalf of Prof. Sayed. The research studied a residential care centre for children and youth at risk in the Western Cape to explore the connections between the backgrounds of the children and youths, the culture and practices of the residential centre, and the teaching approaches adopted within the centre to socially and educationally include learners under their charge. The findings reveal that the Child and Youth Care Centre promotes social inclusion through embedding its culture of a circle of courage in its teaching approaches. The study recommends that other child and youth care centres develop a holistic approach to education, which integrates academic achievement with school cultures that are socially inclusive. The study explored how a residential care centre socially and educationally include children and youth at risk through the integration of its teaching approaches, culture, and practices. Chancellor, I request you to confer the Doctorate in Education on Lorna Yolandi Bali. Doctor in Education with the title Citizenship in South African Schools, a study of 4 high schools in the Western Cape, supervised by Professor Yusuf Sayed. I will read the citation on his behalf. This study explores learners' and teachers' understandings and experiences of citizenship in and through education in South Africa. This study is important because few studies have investigated understandings of citizenships in high schools, particularly in urban as well as rural contexts. The study contributes to knowledge about how class and race impact understandings of citizenship in schools in South Africa. This study throws into sharp relief the gap between policies about citizenship and how the policies are realized in practice in and through education. The study concludes that schools in South Africa remain highly unequal spaces and that there is a long road to travel to realizing citizenship. This study highlights how learners and teachers' understanding and experiences of citizenship in South African high schools in urban and rural contexts are still impacted by the legacies of apartheid and colonialism. Chancellor, I request you to confer the Doctorate in Education on Masina Singh. Chancellor, I request you to confer diplomas and degrees within the Faculty of Health and Wellness Sciences on the following candidates who cannot be present this morning due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
By the authority vested in me, the diplomas and degrees will be awarded to the candidates as presented to me.
And for the Bachelor of Technology in Nursing Sciences, Melissa Gertze. Jadran Maduna. Alvia Matthijs. Anel Vezi. And now, move on to the master's qualifications. The Master of Emergency Medical Care with a thesis titled Perceptions of the CP Experience in the Bachelor of Emergency Medical Care at a South African University of Technology, supervised by Dr. Miller, the student Mashadi Baloy. The Master of Emergency Medical Care, the thesis titled Promoting Emergency Care Provider Responsiveness to Domestic Violence Patients through Simulation Training, supervised by Dr. Naidu, cum laude, Wesley Craig. The Master of Emergency Medical Care with a thesis titled Individual and Collective Exposure to Workplace Violence of Pre-Hospital Emergency Care Providers in Urban Cape Town, supervised by Dr. Naidu, Caroline Markey. And the Master of Emergency Medical Care with a thesis titled Emergence of Child Abuse Diagnostic Education in Emergency Care, a Common Concern, supervised by Dr. Naidu and Mr. Christopher, Roxanne Moritz. And now for our doctoral candidate for the Doctor of Radiography, and the student is Florence Davidson, thesis titled Body Fat Distribution and Cardiometabolic Risk Factors in South African Men and Women, supervised by Professor Thandi Macha and Professor Goedeke. I will now call on the supervisor, Professor Macha, to read the citation.
Estimates of adiposity and diabetes prevalence in South Africa are higher than the global average. Visceral edible tissue accumulation is a known risk factor for cardiometabolic diseases. This study sought to validate DEXA as a method of quantifying central adiposity, explore the relationship between body fat distribution and cardiometabolic risk, and determine the ability of DEXA compared to anthropometry to identify participants with metabolic syndrome. The findings of the study showed that DEXA is a valid measure of central adiposity, particularly in obese people. DEXA showed that central fat was the most significant correlate of cardiometabolic risk, and lower body fat was associated with reduced risk. DEXA-derived VAT had no advantage in discriminating metabolic syndrome than the waist circumference. Thus, waist circumference can be used as a marker for metabolic syndrome. Florence published 3 papers from her PhD thesis.
Chancellor, I ask you to confer the Doctor of Radiography on the candidate Florence Davidson.
Chancellor, I request that you confer diplomas and degrees within the Faculty of Applied Sciences on the following candidates who cannot be present due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
By the authority vested in me, the diplomas and degrees will be awarded to the candidates as presented to me.
Diploma in Horticulture, Mpo Kola. Asitandile Mpongo. Kama Ndaba. Esetu Kisimane. Lishe Sindapi. Anam Siyalo. Faith Changela. Sinalo Totana. Sivuyisiwe Zondeka. The National Diploma in Analytical Chemistry, Sesetu Beza. Luto Javu. Sinazo Quinana. Asavela Makinase. Lusanda Ginelli. Tuliswa Nozobile. Bulelwa Ntulo. Mtsika Kezu. Nombulelo Shoto. Anezwa Sitimela. Olisa Tsatsi. Zianda Changela. For the National Diploma in Food Technology, Kangelani Matama. Roger Naylor. For the National Diploma in Landscape Technology, Siposetu Nokala. For the National Diploma in Mathematical Technology, Bonisiwe Mzamo. Chancellor, for Master's qualifications, for the Master of Applied Science in Chemistry, with a thesis titled Phytochemical and Biological Activities of Plecranthus madagascariensis, supervised by Professor A. Mohammed, Kadidiatou Osami. The Master of Conservation Science, with a thesis titled A Morphological and Molecular Study of Polydora websteri, Accurate Identification Towards Improved Management of a Globally Distributed Pest of Cultured Mollusks, supervised by Professor R. Snyman and Professor C. Simon, Nicola Rodewald, summa cum laude. The Master of Environmental Health, with a thesis titled Challenges of Accessing Water for Agriculture by Emerging Farmers of the Brede Kuritz Catchment Management Agency, supervised by Dr. B. Ngube, Awelani Sadiki. The Master of Environmental Management, with a thesis titled Sustainable Disposal and Potential Reuse of Greywater Produced at Households in Informal Settlements, a case study of Monambisi Park, Cape Town, South Africa, supervised by Dr. N. Malaza, Simamkele Magaba. The Master of Environmental Management, with a thesis titled Sustainable Waste Management in the Informal Settlement of Tlahlani for Port Elizabeth, Eastern Cape, supervised by Dr. Malaza and Dr. V. Zongo, Sibongile Matebese. For the Master of Environmental Management, with a thesis titled Temporal, Spatial, and Interannual Variability of Cape Cormorant and Bank Cormorant Diet at 4 Namibian Islands, supervised by Dr. N. Malaza, Dr. D. Walker, and Dr. P. Leroux. Desmond Tom. Chancellor, our doctoral candidate for the faculty at this graduation ceremony. For the Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry, with a thesis titled Synthesis and Bioactivity Evaluation of Selected Pentacyclic Triterpenoid Hybrid Conjugate Derivatives, supervised by Professor A. Mohammed and Professor F. Shode, Wasiu Olalekan Afolabi, and I would like to call on the supervisor, Prof. Mohammed, to read the citation. Thank you.
This study examined the synthesis and bioactivities of conjugate hybrid combinations of selected pentacyclic triterpenoid scaffold. The study focused on the functionalizations of naturally occurring moieties and the limitation of synthesizing a large hybrid compound, and the significance of structure-activity relationship in rapid bioactive compound development. The main contribution of this study is the discovery of novel templates for potentially therapeutic agents more potent against multi-drug resistant microbial strains relative to reference standard antibiotic. The synthesis and screening of natural mimicked conjugate hybrid therefore presented novel bioactive derivatives that are reported for the first time, which may have application in the development of new drugs lead.
Chancellor, I request that you confer the Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry on Wasiu Olalekan Afolabi.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our formal proceedings, and I take this opportunity to say thank you for streaming it and making it special for the graduating class of 2020. I must commend the stakeholders who painstakingly planned this digital graduation. You have indeed made it a special one for our students. Vice Chancellor, Prof. Christian Slapo, thank you very much for your leadership during this most unprecedented and trying times for higher education. Thank you to the staff of the Marketing and Communication Department, Infrastructure Development, Facilities Management, and Assessment and Graduation Center. You have made this event a memorable one for graduates, and it is highly appreciated. Thank you to the rest of the CPUT staff who have lent their support and continue to work tirelessly to complete the academic project so that many more students may move closer to their own graduation ceremonies in the near future. Thank you to the health compliance officers, the University Health Cluster, the Health Command Center for working tirelessly on keeping our campuses safe. To our students and staff, thank you for diligently observing the health protocols and for keeping your masks on. In true CPUT style, I would like to conclude by saying, Dames en heren, baie dankie. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Nkosi siyabulela.
By the powers vested in me, I now dissolve this congregation of the Cape Peninsula University of Technology.